Okay, hey guys, Novastar here again. As you know, it's part of the Novastar Saber Sessions series. Try saying that 3 times fast. I don't need to introduce myself if you've been following this. So let's see, we're going to start by talking about performing in costume. And what I mean by that is in a heavy costume, not just, a few layers or a regular Jedi outfit or, simple costume that is not inhibiting or prohibitive. I'm talking about Vader. I'm talking about masks that are, inhibiting your vision. I'm talking about an overage of heat. So what are the basic things that I could say about it? The best way to begin with such a thing is you need to already be able to do whatever fight work it is that you're going to go for in costume very easily without the costume. And I think that is probably painfully obvious, but I might as well say it, right? Like, some people will say, oh, I'm so excited about it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to become Vader. I'm going to do these things. And then they're not really thinking about, like, well, wait, am I even capable of doing what I'm about to go try to accomplish without this costume? Like, some people just don't consider that. And so that's important. Basically, when you're rehearsing, you want to be able to do it without the costume. But there's another side of it. I also encourage that if your costume, your actual costume, is inhibitive or prohibitive for certain actions, wear something when you're rehearsing that's going to put you in that kind of situation. Now, you don't have to wear your costume. Like, for example, I don't really rehearse my Vader fight work in the Vader suit. I even have lips and all these things that I have to have in the costume, and I don't rehearse in them. Mainly because it's just not convenient and whatnot. But I don't have to, because I also know my capabilities and what I can and cannot do, and I set myself up for success with the event by understanding the limitations and all that. But what I do is I wear black thick gloves. I wear a long leather jacket that's hot and, gives me some feeling of like having the cape on and this kind of thing. In some cases, I can just put on some glasses too, or something like that, like sunglasses, and, kind of get that feel of, that's right, my vision's going to be limited. And I have, I think, on a few occasions, actually rehearsed in my lifts, or I should say my elevator chute, whatever you want to call it, the things that raise me up. They're not platforms. I think I would look like a velociraptor walking around in those. It's terrible, and you can't really feel the balls of your feet with those. In any case, I'm getting a little off track here, but you see my point. So, for example, I remember a lot of people in the past, they'd rehearse in, like, a t-shirt and shorts, and maybe just sneakers. And that's not bad. Obviously, you can't always grab all the gear and get all, crazy with it. You just say, hey, we have time to rehearse, let's do it. But you really should always have in the back of your mind, be thinking, oh, that's right, I'm going to have this big thick belt on, and oh, I'm going to have this thing, there's going to be the big head strap, I got to have this, and there's all these things that are going to be inhibiting me. Because if you make your fight scene too complicated, and you can do it in your jeans and t-shirt or whatever, your t-shirt and shorts, then suddenly you step into all the gear and you find you're slowed by, I don't know, 10%. You're slowed by 15%. You can't do this one fancy body spinning move or a jumping action. You will not know. You have to try it first and make sure that you could do it in full speed. And by the way, that's another thing. If you can't perform your fight scene at full speed without the costume, then, pardon my French, well, how the hell do you expect to do it in costume at full speed? That's just, it's ridiculous. So, make sure you mitigate all the hell and damnation you'd go through by preparing yourself. Okay? So that's about, half the video here. So the next one I want to talk about is doing fight scenes in short time. And what I mean by that is not that you have a fight scene that's 10 moves. We all know that's bogus. That's nothing. That's no challenge. Anyone can do that. You don't need any real training to do a 10-move fight scene or a 20-move fight scene. Sorry, that was my phone. People have blown up my phone. But I'm talking about, you have, say, suddenly someone phones you. Oh, we need an event. It's 3 weeks from now. We want a big fight scene, blah, 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 blah. So you're like, uh-oh. we're in trouble, we don't have anything prepared, we're not ready, or whatever. Let's say that's the case. I mean, for all I know, maybe you're out there going, hey, we have this thing that has been ready for many, years, and we're all set to go. Anytime people call, we have a fight scene. But let's say you don't. Or let's say they don't want that fight scene. Let's say you have, for example, with me, I have a Vader and Obi-Wan fight scene prepared, or the Empire Strikes Back choreography, or even, just choreography I've done in the past and so forth. Let's just say I saw your work. It's fantastic. I love it. I don't want any of that stuff. We want something totally new, and we want X and Y and Z and so forth. And so then you're like, great. What do we do? At that point, you really have no other choice. And again, this is my opinion. Other people's, opinions and mileage may vary. Is to rely on having a system where you do have enough basics where you can use things like patterns and things. For example, with my own system, with the Saber Combat system, as you guys know from the sabercombat.com DVDs, which of course you can go on the website and go check it out and learn more about it. I wouldn't rely just on what most people know me as having 1 through 10, as a lot of people will constantly refer to the system being. That's not the only thing going on in the system, but it is the rudimentary basics. You can think of it like having a certain amount of musical notes on the keyboard, if you will, or the piano, and then of course playing around with them and doing them in different ways, and that's how music is created. So it's similar. We would use, the 1 through 10. We would use some star patterns. We would use these other kind of different patterns that everybody in, or at least on my team or on your team, should know. They should be capable of it. They should be able to be capable of both sides of it, like if they were the attacker or defender, and of course those roles, of course, exchange throughout any fight scene. But you kind of get my point, that you should know just what in the hell is going on for both sides of that work, and that way you can literally, throw up some fight scenes out there to people in short time when you're not allowed, or you're not given the opportunity, I should say, to have something prepared way more complicated. Okay? And another note with that is, to prepare something really professional looking and really awesome looking and really strong, and having a scene that will... what am I trying to say here? Is having a scene that actually will, 4 years down the road, people will look at it and still think it's cool. There's really no other way. You're going to have to go through hard work. It often will take a year. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's how I feel about it. Now, of course, I don't mean a year if you were to practice it every day. But honestly, I don't know a single Saber group that I know of that has the ability and the luxury and the time to practice every day. Everybody has jobs and and lives to lead. You can't be constantly sitting there going, oh, okay, I can rehearse every day for 3 hours. I mean, that's generally what the professionals do, like Jackie Chan and Jet Li and maybe Jason Statham. I'm just throwing out names, obviously. It could be your favorite, insert favorite martial arts star here, or sword work guy, But, when you're not professional, you can still do really high quality work. You just need to be very efficient with those rehearsals and that time. And again, that's where the system comes in really strongly. That's where the idea of saying, well, it's going to take us a long time based on the fact that we're rehearsing once a week, and it will take time for you to build on something and make something really powerful. So take that with a grain of salt too. When I say it'll take a year, it won't always take a year, but I'm pretty much saying that, if you want to do something of real magnitude, something really hard hitting as a performance, you can expect a good 6 to 8 months, and again, sometimes maybe a year total to get it from A to Z, where it's like, okay, the whole production is ready to go. And again, I'm kind of also, noting that, the productions that I've done, they often take props and sound work and vocals and sets. And if you don't have any of those things going on, if you're just like, hey, we're just two guys fighting, we don't have a sound plot, we're just going to use the sound coming from the sabers, we don't need to worry about any of that stuff, then you don't have to worry about it as much. It would probably only take you maybe 2 to 4 months, maybe 5, and so forth. So this is pretty much 10 minutes video there. So there you have it, basically performing in heavy costumes and then doing fight scenes when they are coming up against you really quickly. Hope that helps. May the force be with you, and have fun with your LED sabers. Bye.